That was Products with Ink. I just saw them play Thursday night at the Turf Club. Very fun, very danceable show. And now the moment is to come. I'm super excited to have a guest in the studio. We've got Christy Mary. Welcome.
Hi.
Hi. Thanks so much for coming. Yeah. I'm excited to talk about your new song, your new video, which we just premiered.
Yeah.
Premiered a couple hours ago. Go look on the Mostly Minnesota Music website for that. This is kind of a, well, first I should invite you to tell us a little bit about yourself. We have chatted before, but we can't assume everybody who listens to every show I do.
Certainly. Yeah. This is my second time here. And as you remember, my last EP was Here For You, and that was my first EP of original music that I've done. And but I've done a lot of music in the past, starting with a band in college called Thursday with James, and one when I lived in LA called Old Souls, and some played with somebody else, Rick Beerhorst, in New York. So just various things over the years, but I never recorded with Thursday James. That was doing my own music. So these things, this EP that I'm currently doing and that last one were my first opportunity to do this. And then I also do poetry. So.
I was going to say you do some wonderful poetry too.
Thank you.
Yeah. And this new single is really kind of it's a peek at a whole new you. It's a shift. I love the song. It's to me it sounds almost like a little torch singer-y. I love that sound to it. Whereas the music, the earlier album was very, it was very intense. It was very authentic. But tell us about how you've shifted.
Well, I don't know if it's a new me, because almost all of the songs, all of them existed except for Reach For Me, which I wrote during the last one. It was just what I was kind of choosing to put forward at each time. So the first time I sang a whole bunch of songs. I had an idea of the album I wanted, and I was going toward a more, acoustic sort of direction with that, or a more folk direction. And Matt had said, here are 7 songs of what you shared with me that, choose 3 or 4 out of these or something. And we ended up with 5 or 4 of those plus Reach For You, which kind of tied them together. But one of the songs on this EP was one of those 7 that he had chosen. And I had always had kind of this, well, not always, but I knew I had jazz songs in me. And then there was some point, I don't know if it was 10 years ago or something, where someone said, or my mom said, your grandma used to sing over the dishes like one of the greats. And I never knew that. And so it was kind of just a moment for me where I thought I really want to do a jazz album at some point, and I want to dedicate it to my grandma. And so this was my opportunity to go that direction. And part of it, you guys did describe my last EP as cathartic.
Yes, very much so. Yeah, I mean it was.
Yeah, which is not unusual for me, but I did want to go and do something that was jazzy and happy and joyful, kind of dancey. That was kind of when, because I do have other jazz songs that are, more my introspective self.
More cathartic.
Right. Yeah, I do have some more catharsis to come. But I just thought, well, what we all need right now is a little happiness. So
it is. From that perspective, I think the timing was just perfect, because I was like, oh, snap! This is a very different. Yeah. To me, your voice almost sounds different. It sounds more aspirated. It just in a. And I don't want to say, but in a different, but in a very different way. It's just a lighter sound. Mm-hmm. And it must be, I don't know if how intentional that is.
I write songs mostly by accident. So I basically, if it comes to me, I sing it, I, record it in a voice memo and do something with it at some point, but I don't purposefully go out and decide I'm going to write a song that leans toward, folk or jazz directions necessarily. It's just kind of, well, this is what's happening right now and we'll go with it, kind of. So
Well, it is interesting to think about. I am wondering kind of what inspires it. Does the sound come first? Does an idea come to you first?
I write both the music. I sing it a cappella, so kind of the melody and the lyrics come to me usually at the same time. And kind of how I end up landing on projects is, like I said, most of the stuff is written more by inspiration than perspiration. So I just kind of keep an eye on things, and when there seems to be a pool of things that kind of hang together, then if I get a name that seems to fit with them, then I end up moving those projects forward and trying to do something with them. So
it's funny. The theme today is library, and I was a reference librarian, so it makes me wonder. You talk about when you were working with Matt and having to choose 7 songs. Do they come out in themes, or do you have to look back and say, I've got these 12 songs and now I can categorize them or theme them in different ways?
Well, I mean, I do have a lot of jazzy songs, so it was, when I was thinking forward to the next project, I just thought, what fits together, and then I kind of looked at some of them and I thought, I'm just gravitating toward these happier ones right now, just because of, and especially the poetry books that I put out,
right.
About grief and cancer and death and breakups and everything. I feel like I've been in a certain place.
Yes.
So, as far as the things that I've been putting out for, a while, and I just thought I really want to do something that's brighter this time, and so I do have more of those. I think my next project may also be kind of a jazzy, torchy thing, but it will be not quite as upbeat, perhaps. So I have ideas there, but it's still, some of it hangs on budget as far as how many songs can one afford to do, or how are things going to be spaced out and whatnot. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
True.
So, I actually thought, because you were talking about libraries, I thought, well, that's a very strange coincidence, because Matt Patrick, my producer, has the library recording studio, and I thought, was that on purpose? I'm like, no, we chose this date because it was before the
because
the song coming out, but
exactly.
Weird.
I know, it's perfect. It's perfect. That theme was meant to be. I was cursing myself yesterday for choosing that theme, but now it's perfect.
Yeah, it works.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, when you're working with something that's lighter, how does that affect your psyche? I mean, and I guess I'm really asking the reverse. Is it harder to work just in your own brain, or maybe it's cathartic to work through some of the stuff that's tougher?
It does work through things in some ways. And I think I might have shared in the last interview that there was one song that something about what Matt did with the music made me cry every time I practiced that song. So sometimes I'd have to leave it toward later or something. But I think it's good. Every time that I practiced these songs, pretty much, I would end up dancing and happy. So I kind of had the opposite effect, in the sense of but I don't shy away from the heavy.
No, you don't.
The heavy songs or poems, just because I think they're very much a part of me. And over my life, I've gravitated toward things that were more cathartic for one reason or another. Sometimes, for some of us, sad things make us feel happier or less alone, maybe. But I know that later, as I get older and have experienced more pain over my life, I have a little less tolerance for the more cathartic works of art, just because, if you're already there,
Yes.
you have to be careful with your mental health, of course, and just be supportive of.
There is that balance. There is that, because I think I like to watch shows where the parents are really horrible, because I think I'm a great parent, like Shameless.
Right.
I'm not as bad as Frank. I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
But there is that walking the balance of putting yourself in a bell-shaped curve.
Yeah.
Do I want to be the happiest one in the room, or do I want to be the most cathartic one in the room? Or, how can I find that balance? And I think people use music to do that a lot.
I know some people, they try to like set their tone for the day with, I'm going to listen to this kind of music and purposefully like, this is going to make me motivated and excited to clean. Or I've never been that person, but sometimes I've thought whether I should be, you know, that wouldn't be a helpful way to look at
I wish, I was going to say, let's get that playlist to me. I could use that.
Right.
I'm trying to, the irony, I listen to the Guilty Feminist podcast whenever I wash dishes. It was like the irony of it, because that feels right. No, I could use that list.
Nice.
Hey, could we play your song?
You can.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about it before or after? Let's play it and then talk about sort of.
Sounds good.
Okay. Yeah, I like.
Sweetness in my adulation of you. What are you gonna do? There's a sweetness in my hesitation, sweetness in my adulation of you. What are you gonna do? And the question remains, what's this emotion that comes to me through the rain? Do. It's like a rock that comes out from volcanoes and then it cools. It's like
There's an Irish singer, Imelda May. She doesn't do so much torch music anymore, but I just love. This reminds me of her.
I'll have to check her out.
Yeah. She'd wear her hair all swooped up in a big and blonde curl right here. Oh, it's jet black hair. It's just very cool.
Oh, the night has come down, painted over me, and the question remains, what's this emotion that comes to me through the rain? Do. It's like a rock that comes out from volcanoes, man, it cools. It's like a rock that comes out from volcanoes.
Do you want to play one of your other songs as well? The older songs?
It's like a rock that comes
I mean,
out
either way, because if you know.
It's like a rock.
Be good for comparison.
Yeah.
It's like a rock that comes out from volcanoes and it cools.
Do you have it?
Do you
already got that.
Spotify?
Yeah, that's true.
I was going to download them all, and I thought, I'll get on the I am on the network, so we're good.
It's like rock that comes out from volcanoes and it cools. It's like rock that comes out from volcanoes and it cools. It's like rock that comes out from
You're kind of cramping my style, because usually I dance a lot when I'm here alone. And I was
Go for it.
I probably can. No. Darn guests.
Don't let me stop you.
Damn guests. Cramping my style.
and it cools.
It's Like Rock by Christy Mary. And we have her in studio. That song is sultry. It is a sultry. I really enjoy it. I mean, there's a part that loves that kind of music.
Oh yeah.
It
doesn't go out of style.
no, it really doesn't.
Yeah.
It really doesn't. And you know, the woman you picture singing, the person you picture singing it would be in the same dress no matter what era, the same, you know,
Right,
it just,
yeah.
and that will never go out of style.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
So I could, yeah. Whew, I'm heated just listening to it. But how did this one come to you?
I don't actually remember. It's just I've tried to do some research, you know, looking through old
that's so
journals
funny.
and whatnot,
Yeah.
and I think I probably wrote it about 20 years ago.
Wow.
I can't even remember if I wrote it about a specific person. I have a guess about who it possibly could be, but I was thinking about that because I thought, you know, those who know me, probably 70% of what I write is maybe more personal, autobiographical, and then maybe 30% is completely fictional and intuitive. You know, I've written songs about experiences I've never had, or, you know, from the point of view of characters I've never been. But I imagine that this was, you know, related to a real life person, but I can't remember exactly. So sorry, that's
maybe
not
pick like a Johnny Depp or something. Then
Right.
you won't, you know, no one will get embarrassed or worried, or, you know.
For sure.
Or you could just let everybody think it was about them.
Oh yeah, it's about all of you.
It's about all of you. It's about all of you. Tell us about the video. I love it.
Oh, thank
Yeah,
you.
it's very, yeah.
Well, I didn't know. So it's funny because I've known Matt Patrick, my producer, forever, but a lot of the instrumentalists, he kind of brought them all together. So it was my first time meeting them was when they were coming in, and I think my understanding of what was happening is that their first time hearing the music was also when they came in and got the sheets handed to them. So they're just professionals. They know what they're doing.
Yes.
And since I didn't know them very well, I didn't know how distracting I would be to them if I ran around videoing them. So I kind of tried to stay fairly low key. I don't know whether I succeeded in that, but kind of as interestingly, Matt had the three instrumentalists who were not the Eric Songer, who did the trumpet and trombone later separately. He had them work on all the songs backwards because the fourth song I think maybe has the most energy, possibly, or whatever. And so so by this song, I think I had gotten bolder and I got more footage of them playing. So we were able to incorporate that into the video. So, and I had just I had like a little Sony RX camera or something that we'd gotten for better things, just because the phone that I had kept running out of space whenever I videoed too much. And then also I had my iPhone. I ended up getting a newer one, so it had better. So between those two things, I just, you know, would set up something while I was even recording in the studio. So it was recording me, and I was like, I don't know whether it'll be any good, but we'll see. And so, and then Tommy got me a green screen, and I just, you know, like a cheap small one off the internet that we can use at home, and I taught myself some stuff about that and did some videoing on that. So I kind of brought that together, and our friend, more friend of my husband, Tommy Rabine, some of you know him, some of you know, but he's been friends with this guy Shane Nelson, who's an amazing videographer and does editing and video stuff as his day job. And he, out of the kindness of his heart, offered as a Christmas present to us to edit my video for me.
Aww.
So he uses a certain service, and he said, you know, if you want to choose some stock photography off of this service, you know, you can do that. So I just kind of, you know, went on that service, kind of looked through the stock photography, and I also got some other stuff, you know, brought it, like the wallpaper kind of idea that is behind me in some of the shots. And so we just went over to his place, and I kind of said, here's all of this stuff, and, you know, see what you can do, you know, kind of thing. And we spent like 5 hours going. He first went through and just kind of chunked things out and talked with me about colors and fonts, and then just, you know, went through, kind of chose the best of the best footage and said, are you you know, can you live with all of these shots? You know,
Right.
and I said, okay, you know, and once we got to a certain point, we went home and he just finished the rest of it
amazing.
himself, and I think it really came out beautifully. So
It is. There's something powerful because it kind of interspersed. We've got shots of volcanoes.
Yeah. And he added a lot of extra volcanoes too. He found a lot of extra stuff, and it was kind of his idea to also put in the idea of like the old time film projector and some of those real cool effects that he put in that relate to like the old timey video or films. So
It is.
I love it.
I just thought that the volcanoes just sort of they punctuated the lines of the song so well, and it was a non-ironic way. You know, you're like, oh, that just like, oh,
it makes sense.
It makes sense. It's not how I would have heard the song without the image. Was what's kind of fun about it, and it's nice when you see a video go, oh, that's different than the song. It makes me think of the song in a new way.
Yeah. And I liked, and I picked up some little with the rain or whatever. I thought it would have been nice to have like an Audrey Hepburn with a fella in the rain or something for that or something. But you know, didn't find any good couple in the rain shots or anything. But I think I'm really happy with how it ended up.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, you should be. You should be. It looked great. Now, do you have the taste for doing that for more songs?
Well, I kind of feel like it's weird in today's world that it's, in order to kind of draw listeners, it really helps to have a visual aspect of it. So I am attempting, you know, to do, although, you know, that was just a one-time thing with Shane helping us out, so I don't know. But my second one, my friend Andrew Crandall just helped me wrap that up this week as far as our final edits. I just have to put on, you know, front and end cards and stuff. So I at least have one more that came out well. I've done a lot of work on the third one, but there's still a lot of cleaning up for that one. And then the fourth one, I've got ideas and no action has happened to date.
You are so creative. Is that you write poetry and you sing, so adding a whole nother dimension.
Yeah. It's a part of my brain I haven't used a lot before, so it's a new kind of artistic expression, which is, it's fun, you know, but it's very challenging. Like on that first one, I think I was using 3 different programs. I was using one program to match up the sound, and then I had figured out on this other program how to put something behind the green screen, and then this other program to put the clips together. So just and then you find, oh, well, this might do the green screen, but then I'm really blurry in those. But this might do the green screen. It's better, but you see a little green in my hair. But, you know, it's just all these different things. Oh, also, it's kind of funny for that first one. I was basically, the green screen, I only had a couple feet to work with. Okay. Because it's such a small green screen, and I had my iPhone was balanced on a deck of cards on a music stand in front of me. And it's funny because I didn't immediately see it, but in some of the shots I could even see like the shadow, because the light was up sort of behind it, and I could see the shadow of the music stand on me. But you can't see, I don't see it in the video.
Is that funny?
So it works out.
That just adds to the charm, I think, to that kind of the DIY. And I don't do a lot of video because it's hard to do. Yeah. It's hard to do, but I have worked with people who, it's kind of the old typing purpose. I don't know how the tab works, so I just put space.
Right. You do what works to get to the place you're going.
Yeah. No, I think that's, and I think it'll be exciting to see what else you come up with, because there is that learning curve, but then, as you say, your video editor friend had the stock video place to go, and it's, you know, as you do, you kind of build up those tools, and you know what's possible.
Right. Yeah. What's legal?
What's legal? Well, yeah. And I mean, there are things.
What can I use? That's public domain, or if someone has access to a service that they've subscribed to.
I'm so glad you brought that up on Library Theme Day.
Yeah. Right.
Because it's a huge deal.
Yeah, like for the second one, I had used a certain service that we thought we had access to, and then the subscription had lapsed, and we ended up having to use public domain stuff instead and find totally fresh stuff. But you make it work, and you find ways to make it really, really good despite the challenges that you run into along the way. There's you only have so much money to work with, so.
Well, that's it. I mean, and it's in some ways that's good. Maybe someday that won't be the issue.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's good to have those parameters because it makes you be more creative.
Right.
You know.
And my goal was really only because I did during this pandemic, because we couldn't really bring everybody into the same room. I had done my release party with video, so I think that's kind of what started me on this path. And my goal this time was just to make things 10% better than last time.
That.
And I think we very greatly exceeded the 10%.
Yes.
But if I have that goal in the future, it might be harder. So,
right.
Yeah.
Right. I like that. I think that's a great goal.
Yeah. It's more, handleable. And also the thing my friend had said last time about done is better than perfect has been continued to be helpful to me, because as an artist, you can keep tweaking something to death, or you can say, hey, we have something. It's wonderful. It could be more perfect, but it doesn't need to be. Yeah. We have this much time. We have people donating their time for free. Let's be grateful and determine a point in time where we say, this is done, so then you can walk away and do the next thing.
That's an old tech line, do not let perfect get in the way good.
Right.
It's
yeah. Because if nobody ever sees it, because you're tweaking forever, then there's no benefit to the perfection.
No.
Yeah.
No. It's the perfect answer an hour too late is just too late.
Yep. For sure.
That's absolutely. So you have kind of a plan. This song, the song that we just heard, really is coming out. It's being released. Tell us about your release plan.
Well,
it's fun.
Well, it turns out there's not a Bandcamp Friday on all the Fridays I had planned. I wasn't thinking about that all the way through, I guess. But the first two, all of them all 4 songs will come out on Bandcamp Friday in April, May, June, and July. And then in July, hopefully by then we will have physical CDs, and we have some sort of live, to be determined live sort of event, whether it's a listening party or show or something like that, for people that want to come and celebrate.
I think that's fantastic. So. I applaud you for not such a public goal to say I want to have it done by the time. I mean, I think that's it's the smart way to do it, but it's also unnerving to say I'm going to have that done by that time.
This is the plan.
It's good.
Yeah,
it's good to make your to hold yourself accountable. I mean, and if it doesn't work in July,
people will forgive me, but I mean, we have finished the CD design for the front and back cover and everything, so I think I'm to a place where I can start moving forward to, get the design stuff from the place. We can finalize that sort of thing and get things moving forward, hopefully. So
that's exciting.
But I have a whole new respect for musicians that I remember over the years when I was not putting things out, where I would get a little impatient sometimes with some of my favorite artists, like, hey, something should be out, and just not realizing how much work is involved. And I feel like over the years, like the more modern we get, the more things it seems like, musicians are expected to be familiar with, or have their fingers in all these kinds of things.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, from the video making to the social media to the just every.
It's so much. It's very overwhelming, and you kind of have to pick and choose and say, I'm probably going to fail in this area, but I'm going to focus my efforts here or here. And but it is kind of far from the time frame when you used to be able to just focus on the art, and it would be someone else's job to get it into the right hands,
and that's what makes it's
audience.
Hard to see that uneven playing field, because if you can bankroll it,
right,
you can bankroll it.
Yeah, you can hire an agency and they'll do the thing.
They'll do all the things, and that and that's fantastic. And if you can do it, that's awesome. But it does. There's a lot of luck.
It's true.
There's a lot of luck in the industry, because you can bankroll an awful lot, but if you're
if people don't know you, or
or if something that you're not striking the right people, you're working to reach out the wrong people, or I'm just stumbling around and say, or maybe you're just not that good, but you can bankroll it. That sometimes. So I guess
I mean, there are definitely
happen.
pay to play. Places that I've sent my press release where I've gotten back something like, you'll get guaranteed coverage if you pay like $250 for this package or something, and you're just like, well, that doesn't say a lot about the quality of what you're putting out. If anybody could just
radio payola, that's what it sounds a little bit like.
So,
No, that's a hard one.
But raises questions. But,
well, and I think this just gives us something to look forward to hear some more music in the future. Would you like to play one of your older songs?
Sure.
All right.
Go for it.
What would you?
Let's see. I would say either Reach for You or I Wish You'd Tried. I Wish You Tried was the one I mentioned that used to make me cry. Reach for Me is another one that a lot of people really connect with. But
okay,
your choice.
I've already cried today after all the snow.
All right. Reach for Me.
We're gonna go for Reach for Me. Christy Mary. That's great. All right. And then I'm kind of looking at the time, so we'll probably finish up soon if that's good.
Yeah, that works for me.
Yeah. Did we get all your note cards?
Yeah, I think. Yeah. I don't think you need to get every single one because obviously I've
got to save something for.
I've got more.
Yeah. Keep your powder dry, as they say. Well, I was watching the video and I was like, oh, Levy, just ran into him the day before at Mall of America, of all funny places. It is amazing, those, studio musicians. You're just
right.
Yep, just give it here. And I've talked to a lot of them, and they're like,
they're like, I like this. Okay, and then they just make the music. It's amazing.
And I think they kind of do a read for how much can I improv? Is this is this a workshop event or is this a play event?
And it's also, I think it's very helpful when your producer has the relationship with them. Because I think they've got a shorthand in communication since they worked together before, and so it's helpful.
And I'm sorry, I'm getting myself queued up for the next. Hear only good things.
Yeah.
Just very good things.
Yeah.
That is. Because it's just two different ways to do it.
Right.
Some people are a little more. And it might be just song to song, like this one, I could use a little idea here, or this one, like this.
Yeah.
This is pretty too.
Thank you.
Reach for Me by Christy Mary, who we have in the studio. I was saying that is a pretty song.
Thank you.
That is and it's such a lovely sentiment. Reach for me and I'll reach for you. I mean, although inherent in it is that bravery of having to reach for some, you know.
Not a very Minnesotan thing sometimes.
No, it really
Asking
isn't.
for help.
No. I always
hard.
kind of say if it, I know you well if I ask for any kind of help.
Yeah.
Although
For
to
sure.
give a nod to Minnesotans today, my daughter's car got stuck in front of the house. I'm trying. She is a new driver. She doesn't know what she's doing. It's 8.5 inches of snow in her car. I'm trying to push it out. And one guy wearing shorts and like a hoodie needs some help. Yes. We still couldn't do it. Then 2 more guys came out and helped us, and we are eager to help.
Right, and my neighbor brought me here today in her truck because we couldn't get out of our alley.
It's funny. Minnesotans are great helpers. We're just not the great at for asking for it.
Yeah, it was hard to just be like, okay. I'm like, this is not an emergency, but I'd really like to go.
Well, and I think we should remind ourselves that we, unless we can't do it, because then we feel terrible if we can't help someone who's asked. But it's kind of a gift to ask someone for help. Because you are saying, I feel like I know you well enough. And that's...
Yeah, extending ourselves for each other.
Yeah. So that's
awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Christy, thank you so much for coming in. Tell folks where's the best place to find you online or...
Oh, I'm a lot of places. You can find me just at my site at christymary.com. I've got a Bandcamp site just with my name, Christy Mary. And I'm also on Facebook as Christy Mary and on Instagram as CM Mary. So that, I think, covers most of it.
That covers it. Yeah.
So.
Well, I look forward to hearing more of the upcoming music.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing the video with us, sharing the music. And
thank you for having me.
Yeah. I'm going to remind folks that you're listening to Mostly Minnesota Music on WMCN 91.7 FM in St. Paul. Our theme today is libraries. So we're going to have a song by Cuckoo Kangaroo called Ink.